Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today, checking out another lager from Evil Twins Greenhouse series. So this is their Rotbier, Greenhouse Rotbier, aged on American oak foeders. So what's really cool is that they, Evil Twin does all these modern beers, but all the crazy stuff. But they also have like traditional stuff like this lager series, which is really cool. Yeba talked about how he thinks like beer should have everything, and I totally agree. There should be. It's totally fine that there's all these crazy, weird pastry, smoothie beers, all this, but the classic stuff should still get attention sometimes because you know that's the building blocks we've been building on for so long. And I think a lot of brewers would roll in their graves with what's going on now, but that being said, classic beer is still awesome. So we're checking out some Rotbier today. Rotbier is not a style I'm actually familiar with at all. It's so rare that happens, but I saw this. It's been in my fridge for a while now. Neglected it a bit, but finally decided to crack it. Rotbier is from Nuremberg in Germany. I've been to Nuremberg mainly for Braubeviale, and that is a huge event for brewers and just companies selling equipment and ingredients and all kinds of things, tapping system, whatever, for the brewing industry, everything beer related in one. And you go there, you look at equipment, you look at many different things. I've been there a couple of times, and it's really cool. When I was there last, I was in Nuremberg, and we were just spending the time in Nuremberg at the event, and we had a brief walk to the city to have a couple beers one and after, but not Rotbier, just Pilsners. So it's one of these regional exclusive kind of German beers, kind of like Bamberg has Rauchbier, which is the smoked lagers. And apparently this was something that was a style trying to combat Weizen a bit. So Weizen was really popular, but then Nuremberg had the Rotbier, so Weissbier, Rotbier, but it's a lager first off, and it's not an ale, and it's not made with wheat. So that's it's a big difference to a Weiss beer, and also the flavor profile, of course. But this is actually going to be my first Rotbier, as far as I know. It for some reason is one of those small regional obscure styles of Germany that I haven't researched or done anything about. Probably mainly because I've never really researched and looked up darker lager beers because I've always been into the lighter ones. So total new learning curve for me, and we're starting with an American example. But from what I know from people who've had this is apparently really close to what they do in Nuremberg. So yeah, this is 5.4%, and it's aged in the American oak foeder, and it's hopped with Hallertau Tradition hops. And shout out to John. John loved this beer, and he tags me a lot on Untappd when he drinks lagers, which is awesome. So, you can totally see why they call it a red beer. It looks reddish, maybe more so on camera. It's lightly amber. I've heard or read that a lot of people, or just in general, people think it's very similar to Märzen, which is also from southern Germany. So a more malt-driven beer, but Märzen's can also be lightly hoppy and whatnot. So this is usually it's all malt beer, not as much hops. Very low IBU count. But yeah, it's a nice reddish copper color, and the head that's there is white-ish, maybe slightly beige. It looks very nice. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah, got some beer in my nose. It's really like bready and malty. I'm getting a little bit of something that reminds me of DMS though. Like there's a little bit of a vegetal thing. Maybe it's because the can warmed. I don't know. Everyone I've seen drink it love it. But for me right now, I'm getting a little bit of a vegetal note. But it's light, so it's nothing major. It's just like super light. And it's, you should usually not have that in beers like this, but small amounts, not a lot of people pick up on. But it's like one of the off flavors I always pick up on. And I'm just, for some reason, getting a small amount. But because it's important, probably not. I don't know. I got a quick whiff there, reminding me of vegetables. It could also just be my nose, because now I'm getting more of a bready, kind of toasty malt vibe. Yeah, it's I totally see what people are talking about. It's similar to Märzen. If you think like darker box, it's almost like a really light version of that. Like it's next to no hops, or maybe more so like a really light version of a not double bock. Yeah, I guess so. Like a really light version of a Doppelbock. Yeah, Dunkelbock, Doppelbock, something like that. Or maybe mostly Munich Dunkel, actually. Munich Dunkel is super light. Like, Munich Dunkel has more. Ah, there we go. It reminds me. It reminds me of Danish brewed classic, actually, by when it's done by craft breweries. A little bit. Like classic is a Danish thing, which is stupid. It's a marketing term. Like people don't know it, but it's Carlsberg who invented it, and it's basically a pilsner that's dyed with caramel originally, but it was inspired by Munich Dunkel lagers and stuff like that. It was made long ago in Denmark before, pilsner was really popular. But it smells a bit like craft interpretations of that with a little bit of an oaky vibe, like hugely bready malt and like toffee. But usually like this is not the kind of lagers I like. I like the hop centric ones. I'm just a hoppy beer guy, so even in lagers. But it smells nice. It smells really nice. That was just a DMS thing up front first, but not really picking up on it now. It's more like just like hugely bready and toasty malt, almost like lightly jammy. Let's try it. Cheers. Yeah, no DMS. Not at all. Just it's almost like Danish Danish craft brewers trying to do the classic thing, but just making it with real ingredients. Yeah, it's almost think Munich Dunkel Light. It's like toasty and bready, slightly roasty. It's like it's somewhere in between like that. There's a good hop character. There's like a woodsy herbal hop character, really woody. That's probably also because it's been in oak foeders. But yeah, these kind of like malty. It's not really sweet. It's not sweet as a Munich Dunkel, but these kind of sweeter lagers. I don't think they're ever or malty or lagers ever going to be like something I'm really stoked about. It's really good, and I like that. It actually has a little bit of bitterness, nothing crazy, and it's dry and everything. It's really nice. It's not like overtly sweet. It's definitely drier than like a Munich Dunkel. But I just like, I don't know, these lightly malty beers for some reason it's just never been my favorite. Think brown ale, think Munich Dunkel, think classic, whatever. I've always been when it has to be dark malts, give me like full on, like give me Doppelbock if we're talking lager, give me barley wine, give me stout. This may be too crazy, imperial stout, but stuff like that, like imperialized stuff. I've always been like that with these beers, but I can definitely see I probably appreciate this a lot more than say a Munich Dunkel because it's not as sweet, and I really like the oak for aging because there is a nice woodiness, which is probably also a bit from the hops, but there's also almost like a little bit of a slight vanilla vibe because it's American oak. Super well brewed lager, super crushable, super clean. Like I'm so amazed still. I see people doing tasting notes on craft lagers, and they can't taste the difference between craft lagers and mass produced ones. And I think it's crazy because the difference when you've at least tried a lot is huge. Like you can totally taste that they skimp on everything and they're not lagered for very long. And the off flavors are often there, like stuff like that. But it's so subtle and so light, and I think that's why a lot of people don't pick up on it. But it's actually really good. I'm enjoying it more the more I'm drinking it. I know John really loved it. He said it's reminded him of being in Nuremberg or something like that. Again, we always rate for personal preference. I think I'm actually gonna go this. I'm gonna go 90 on this. I didn't really expect I'd do that, but it's actually really good. The more I'm drinking it, the more I'm liking it. There's a bit of a grassy hop character to it as well, and the vanilla and from the wood is super light. It's just like a toastiness, and it's not like the toastiness of the wood. It's like it's drying, just like licking a bear outside of a barrel. It's really well harmonized with the lightly toasty, caramelly, and bready malt, like freshly baked bread. It's got a lot of complexity, a lot of like beery complexity, not all kinds of like this is what a lot of people will associate with beer flavor. It's got a lot of complexity for that, especially considering the ABV. So yeah, it is surprisingly good. It's probably not going to be the first thing I jump to or jump towards, but this makes me want to check out more Nürnberg Rotbier because again, it's undiscovered territory. Yeah, it's rare that happens when you've been into beer as long as I have. So Yeah, that was fun. So if you guys had a chance to try Evil Twin's Greenhouse Rotbier conditioned on American oak, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.